again, I don't think they have to change anything. I think they did a good job of adapting after games 1 and 2. They got like 8th, 7th place. After that, it was just first, second, first. They played so well. The adaptations that they made on their low ground play worked out perfectly.
And both of those games they did, one was from the low ground. And here you can see just how dominant they are, staying box to box, hip to hip, as they rotate through those lower layers as the game goes on. They handle the aggression, the chaos so well because they're so synergized. And I really feel like part of the reason is because they stuck together between Majors 1 and 2, building up that rapport, building up that understanding with each other, so that when you do go down to a duel, when you do go down into a potentially shambles situation, you have the confidence, you have the comms, and you're able to convert that into a positive experience. And again, game number 6 was very tricky. Peterbot, who usually carries the medallion, they gave it to Ritual, so it looked like Peterbot was sticking to where he normally was, and then that's why Peterbot was able to sneak up on Higgs. I don't think we're going to be seeing that again today, maybe.
We hope not, because, you know, Clicks would like his first ever NCS win, and I think that no one else this cast is biased. No one. So it's fine. Let's talk about the trios in 3rd and 4th place who are actually tied at 363 points. Let's start with 3rd place, Visual Braids and Unminished. They put on such a fantastic showing yesterday, and to think they only had one game that they placed outside of the top 10. Let's just run more of that back, right?
Incredible stuff. I mean, if we were to end the competition just after day 1, this trio would actually be qualified to global. So they're definitely sitting in a pretty good spot right now. And honestly, I feel like this is one of the trios that kind of snuck up there. Right? We had such a good showing yesterday where top 2 teams got going head to head. And even myself, I was like, whoa. Visual Braids and Minutes, they've snuck into 3rd place right now. I gotta go ahead and mention it, right? Day 1 was crazy with the zones. A little bit of a caveat for this trio, right? They're landing right in the middle of the map, Fonzie Floodgate. And, listen, there's no room to ever complain about the zones because you always got people run through any of the zones that kind of happen when you're landed in the center like this trio is.
You know, they've been around for a while and really coming onto everyone's radar in Major 1 when they got 11th place. And then, of course, they also had a pretty good performance in the group stages. Another team that had a pretty good performance yesterday. Of course, it's one of my favorites. Reef and Curly had some great aggression early on yesterday, Vivid. But for me, it was not only that they took the in game number 4, but their ability to let go of it and then still convert it into a pretty successful endgame.
I'm going to piggyback off of Zeke a little bit here, right? Like, he was talking about Visual Braids and Minutes. He was like, oh, well, you know, that trail, they only placed outside of the top 10 once. Reed, Cooper, and Curly, they didn't place outside of the top 10 at all. Very, very consistent trio. Yeah, I love the fact that this trio kind of performed in the last seconds and everything like that. Cooper kind of finding himself.
Get me out.
Towards the top of the global champion himself. It's great to see this trio doing that.
Yeah, and I mean, they're just performing so well. I'm excited to see how they're going to be doing in game number 2, or in day number 2, I should be saying.
Nope.
A lot of it comes down, of course, to those.
I'm running.
They're going to be in their favor, but honestly, I think if we get some soft zones, they'll still be doing well.
Let's hope that the zone gods blessed us today. No more North Zone. Let's just take a break. Just a little break. You know, let's hope. Let's take a break ourselves right now and go hang out with your casters. It's Jacob PR. It's Monster D-Face.
Monster D-Face.
Yeah, one thing I wanted to mention, Jacob, let's not fool the audience here.
Monster, bro. I watch a Fortnite podcast whenever I'm sleeping, bro.
Yesterday, without a doubt. So,
and you host it, bro.
Look at the standings. Even Peterbot's team in first place.
What a W.
Not completely safe. Yeah, it's not completely safe at all. It just takes 1-2 bad games today out of the 6 for day number 2 to really fall into that hole. But on the other side, so kind of what you're talking about, it just takes a couple of good, consistent games. Just sprinkle a little bit of eliminations on top, and now we're cooking. Yeah, that's one thing I want to.
I hate this.
Championship is also included. It's one of the more prestigious, of course, things.
Why is there a fake Mr. Savage in my game?
Running right now, as we start developing this story, do keep that in mind. Anything can happen, Zeke.
Why is there fake Mr. Savage?
If he were to suddenly jump up into that top 3, then we're looking as low as a top 5 finish. That would be enough to qualify a trio through the Global Championship. Anything can happen. We have 6 games to figure out how it all goes. Now, yesterday we kind of wanted to discuss high ground versus low ground, right, Kelly? Where these trios are winning from. You actually have pulled some stats, some numbers for us. You know how much we love the stats, so bring it out for us.
Well, yeah, let's take a quick look for games 1 through 6 yesterday, where exactly our winning team was coming from. And as you can see, 4 out of the 6 games come from high ground. And see, quick question, games 3 and 5, a team won from low ground. Which team was it?
Freaking racist, bro.
Good answer. It was clicks, everyone. But for games 1 and 2, we have high ground wins from all the way from Zone 8. And Vivid, something that we've always talked about is how rare it is really to win from Zone 8.
I mean, crazy stuff. That's something that me and Kelly used to talk about all the time. Like, oh gosh, they're going up for high ground Zone 8. They're not going to be able to hold it. But no, a couple of teams were actually able to pull it off yesterday. And I mean,
Racist fucking kids, bro.
Of course, it's Booga, and something that actually occurred in all 6 games was the team to first go for height in 8th zone was done in the exact same way. So when Zone 8 pops, all these trios are kind of around the edge, but whoever is closest to that zone that moves immediately establishes a tower to establish height for the rest of the game. So here we have it, Zone 8 pops, Rapid, Booga, and Threats immediately build a tower up, and then they ramp. But the reason that they were able to control high ground for all 4 zones is what you can see right here. Rapid all the way in the back, paying attention to anyone that is trying to potentially steal height away, like Acorn that you can see there. And Booga establishing these connections throughout high ground so that no one is able to chop them. And from there, between their positioning and just kind of how relaxed and passive this high ground control was, they were able to go all the way from Zone 8 to Zone 12 and win the game.
yeah, I mean, there was an incredible gameplay for that. I'm not gonna lie though, right? This being game 1, I was like, oh man, like this is how high ground's gonna play out for all 12 of these games. Nobody's gonna kind of look up, but I think that changed pretty quickly, Kelly.
Yeah, game number 2, a similar story happened. Peterbot's team gets the favorable pull in Zone 8. They establish a tower. However, a little different than Booga's game is that we actually had someone try to contest height. And usually a height steal, can be coming from people being chopped or going on the aggressive. I rarely see a trio just ego another team for height. But if you're egoing the ego master of Peterbot, you are going to lose every single time. Peterbot was able to push Braid's trio away. And actually, Peterbot just kind of switched on right there, goes on the aggressive, stays in Storm to get eliminations, and actually goes down. But when it's this trio right here, Ritual and Cold from Zone 10, able to hold height as a duo all the way until the end.
Yeah, I mean, that was an incredible clutch win. That trio was clutching all day yesterday.
That's what I want to see more of, right, Vivid? I want to see more clutches today. Again, Late of Champions, 3 spots to globals, prize money, even just going up a single placement is enough to earn life-changing amounts of money. With 30 seconds left to go before we jump in, how are you guys feeling? Where are your vibes at right now?
I'm feeling great. I'm excited. There was some drama going on in social media between Clicks and Peterbot, and I am here for it. I want more.
I've been a competition of even more. I'm here for a day 2 awesome ending between those top 2 teams, but I also want to see Acorn Trio make a resurgence. I feel like we're going to be seeing them more on the higher ground. That's just like a Vivid prediction. No real reason.
Okay. I'm here for obviously some Fortnite, some memes, and leaving Kelly hanging like she left me hanging yesterday. So next time, don't put me on the spot, Kelly. Bing, bang, bosh. I know who won those games, but I got to be Zeke about it. Okay, anyway, it's that time. We got to find our seats on the battle bus. How will Game 7 kick off? Will it be a bang? Will it be anticlimactic? Will Peterbot push someone else? Let's find out together. Casters, take it away. Gotta love Zeke's energy. You can see he's drinking from the gold fountain behind us. He's having a great time on the front desk, of course. Jacob, 4th through 1st place, had near perfect games yesterday. Are we going to see it happen once again? I think it's almost going to be impossible to think anybody today, with how grueling, how destructive yesterday was, I think they are going to play perfect. Because even our top 2 teams had a couple of speed bumps in their road. And those point gaps, you're talking about 50 points out of the top 4, another 50 points from the top 7, another 50 points to the top 11. It's going to take you as a trio to have a phenomenal performance today. And at the same time, you might hope for a couple of mistakes happening on your opponents. Well, sounds like the battle bus is ready. Let's go ahead and jump on game number 7. This is it, Monster. The first game of game 2. This is where I like to say the tournament almost really begins. We know there's
taking first and second, but a 65 points for a victory round, 4 points per elimination. All you need to do is keep things close and find a way to get elimination, because that's what's really separating the top two and the rest of the pack. And it's a 2-day format, no multiplier like there once was in the past. Who has hit the drawing board? Who's going to come in with those fresh strategies, that new mentality, and really step up today to essentially your placement to the global championship? I would say that is what is truly on the line here. Put the money aside, right? Money can be earned any day of the week, but this global championship spot is so prestigious. More importantly, will you be the champion of Major 2? Well, Game 7's here. It looks like Bryce, G-Monster, and Osid are continuing the action from yesterday. Once again here at the drop spot as we start to highlight who's changing what. Seems like this team is sticking to the old trusty. Yeah, I think, with the way Surge has been playing and controlling a lot of the lobbies, they kind of started off game number 1 yesterday at a contested fight, back and forth, 1-1. Game 3 happened. That's when they started to disengage. But as you know, you need Storm Surge. You need damage. So they're probably changing their game plan just a little bit. Confidence in themselves after being able to VOD review after day number 1 was over. And now they're coming out with a huge vengeance.
Oh, crap. Oh, no.
Right out of the gates. But another contested fight. Kappa Factory, Dash, Seek, and Fear are going to go ahead and try to contest this. On the other side, Silic, Jargu, and King. And Silic, Jargu, and King, that was a team that we watched through the group stages, qualified through consistently dominating those games, making end games time and time again, and then picking up a good number of eliminations to secure that spot. I love how all the things kind of did yesterday to prepare for today. One of the few was change his name to Barbecue Chicken. This will never, ever I don't get it. But here they are, contested at the Kappa Factory. And think about it. Before they even touched down, the team was already eliminated. It really shows you the influence of the battle loss and how quickly the landscape is starting to take form here. Jumping on over to the other side, we get the Peterbot ritual. And it seems like they're continuing the action here, making sure that the team in first place is going to be hearing them here shortly. But first, it's actually City right now. We all know this is Boris Peterbot has to continue to fight for the best now. Rightfully so, he's earned it. Yeah, one of the very skilled players and 1v1s. And something that we noticed yesterday, even though he made that sneak play in the decision, he did it all by himself. Even when Clicks and Yamza were able to kind of converge over and try to get the help to Higgs, instead of taking a 3v1 or a 3v2, they chose to try to disengage. They didn't have the full setup that they wanted. We're trying to cause them to lose the fight and play the rest of that game out on the back foot. But no real changes this time around, sticking to their strategy, building multiple surge bases outside of Lone Wolf Flare. I just think this time around Higgs is going to have his eyes peeled for that porta potty, so no sneaky plays can happen. Nothing just yet, but you know what? I think that Game 6 yesterday was actually a wake-up call for this team, right? Not to let their guard down, and they're going to remain on high alert now moving forwards. And they really have to, right? Because it just shows them that, hey, now quickly, your entire tournament upside down. Makes you wonder, because one of the things a lot of players notice, if you have that signature outfit on, whether if it's with a black bling or not, the pickaxe, that's one thing I want to see. Maybe you have to switch it up every single game so nobody can kind of target and download which outfit you actually are. You have a little bit more escape plans going at it, if that's the case, especially with third parties starting to come in. There's Triple Barthews, Maniac with the Tick. Just outside of Magic Monsters already. There's a lot of teams now, I feel like, thinking this is where we need to position early due to at least 5 zones yesterday going to the north side. Definitely, those zones playing a huge factor. No one in the community is letting it down. As we've seen all the theories start to float up. But, the truth is, I did come across that one post where folks ran the simulations. It's so unlikely for you to see those same types of zones close to the similar areas. So, today, it's a new day. Coming in with a fresh look. So, a quick little update there. Peterbot's elimination. Those are going to be some important damage tags, as we all know. Usually the first game of the day is going to be the slowest one, the most surge heavy, right? The one where teams are being the most passive. For
most part, 90 players still left alive, 31 teams, even with a couple eliminations going down in the moment. You see it going right back up to 90. Reboots are going off, and that's what I would expect. Even with Peterbot taking down a Minish there not too long ago, you expect him with the uncontested drop of Foxy Floodgates to get back into the game, and that's kind of the nature of it all. Slow and steady at the start, try to minimize the amount of mistakes, and you just gotta hope for a team like that, that going down, being forced to reboot, having to reaccumulate some of that surge doesn't turn to bite them at the end of the day. As we jump on board, Cooper Curly taking full control of the flooded frogs, trying to spread out. But this time around, it does look like the zone is already moving a little bit to the east outside of their POI. Yeah, not a bad start for them so far. They're sticking to the game plan here. Curly and Cooper really one of the surprise performers coming up out of nowhere, really showcasing the preparation and the team cohesion that's come together for this trio here. Look at Ree getting active right now. Leaves a wall open and almost gets sent right back to lobby.
God damn it, man.
That reaction time now to go ahead and buy himself some time. Still trying to see now where those shots come from. Can he fish them out? Cyrus, who's kind of lurking about. Here's what it's looking like from Musk's perspective. He also has got sight lines onto him as well.
By the way, 400 ping right now.
Yeah, a lot of extra loot they can kind of relay outside of Shiny Shafts.
Why am I averaging
that they already built their
200
surge
ping?
base on top of, so they got natural elevation plus their built elevation. They get a wide view of the land, which is going to be needed now, not only for the surge that they were trying to accumulate monster, but now you see the zone pulling further and further away towards the eastern side, so at least they're going to be able to get a lay of the land, the information of where teams are currently at, boxed up, and possibly rotating too, so that way they can try to have a smoother rotation and not running to too many players early on. Boxing people up. Let's see what's going to happen here. King's making the pitch in. Catch one off guard. However, no big openers just yet. I like how they defensively get together. Both boxes come down. They have the advantage now. Let's see how King's trio ends up utilizing it. From King's perspective, thrusting to keep the distance here. Both sides on goal splash effect. Scratch that. Ooh, I like that decision right there. You see Seek making sure to destroy the scanner, trying to give less and less information that was people in their arsenal being able to know where they're at. Dash being forced down.
Why can I not?
This is a chance right now. Sneaking around, landing some shots on the King, making sure that he
Get
knows
me
there's
out
no
of here,
shield
man.
on that player. It could be a chance to go if you guys got the opportunity. You backtrack into Silic, who's trying to hold defensive.
What the freak?
If he doesn't expect it.
Nope.
Now he has a chance and he boxes up. Chicken shots coming out from Silic. Seek goes down. Now he leads his trio in a 3v2 situation as the elimination fully gets cleaned up. I gotta give a lot of respect to that one. I was gonna make the call a little early. They clearly have the disadvantage with the overall loot, but when you are the man up now, talk about a game changer here. However, yeah,
Bye.
yeah, he's gonna trade as well.
Bye.
2v2 fight going on here. Both sides,
Bye.
all sides hurt. Jardu's only the healthiest one here in the battle. However, loses, unfortunately, his positioning there, his footing for a second. Now they're forcing low ground to be able to pick up their teammates. Seeks them, easily finished off. Neither one of them will be able to farm up because neither team contesting each other. Now Jardu's almost out of build. Some get past the last second, and they're able to run past this takeout dash, keep it in their favor, and Veer falls as well. And that's a full wipe right there. That was one that I thought was
I'm
going to
averaging
go the
normal
other
ping
way,
now.
but you got to give Silic the credit for getting that opened up elimination. Yeah, that's one of those situations where you look back and say, man, we shouldn't have won that fight. They had a disadvantage. They got snuck up on. They were pushed out of the Kappa, and all of a sudden, Silic with the one big play turns the entire momentum right back around. Well, look, now they have all the time in the world to go ahead and work to reform their way back into this game, see what they can do. That huge performance. Be very nice show, dude. Seen a lot of this team here. Team in the fight at the Magic Mosses. It's up against Noah Plays trio. Right now it seems like they look at the bubble for local spots. Almost 5 or so points down. Noah Plays is already down as well. Taki, he's trying to get distracted down below. Ichigo uses that to his advantage, able to jump onto Chaos Gaming, get another elimination. Now Kaz is left by himself, but at least for now, Monster, there's a little bit of distance between him and those two opponents still looking around to figure out where he's at.
Yeah, they don't know exactly where he is just yet, and there's another trio moving in extremely quickly. Could that be Peterbot's team? Could that be... Oh, okay, it's Reed's Curly on the way alongside Cooper there. Taki and Eshu now looking to kind of double back, pair up with one another. Shots come in. They're wasting no time, letting their presence be known.
Uh-oh. Fourth team now enters into the mix, probably an additional team coming from Whiffy. And you see it, Monster, it's just outside of Magic Mosses. So a lot of these teams that do land up here, instead of kind of cutting towards the side, beelining it to zone, they could go all the way towards the north. One tick zone damage isn't going to be much, and then they could try to get into where it isn't as congested, maybe above Demon's Dojo, maybe above Pump Power. Those are going to be some of the pivotal spots for any of these teams rotating early. And for Taki, Vert, and Eshov,